Thank you for the chance for the interview. So we have the CEO of Oceanwide Expedition here, Michel.
Well, I'm Michel van Gessel. I have been working with Oceanwide Expeditions now already for more than 30 years.
Oh wow! You use that to eat? So here we have our CEO of Oceanwide Expedition, Michel. Yeah, just be casual. Yeah, we have been long-term friends more than a decade, right?
Yes.
I remember like 2011, I was doing my gap year from North America to South America. I was thinking, how can I go one step further to the Antarctica? Of course, for free as an influencer. So I contact a few cruise operator. Oceanwide was one of them. And Michel replied to me, and he make my dream come true. I went to the Antarctica for the first time in 2012. And since then, we start to collaborate to promote Oceanwide Expedition until today.
Yeah, we were so friendly to give you the opportunity, and I'm very glad we did.
Thank you for the chance for the interview. So we have the CEO of Oceanwide Expedition here, Michel.
Yeah, well, I'm Michel van Gessel. I have been working with Oceanwide Expeditions now already for more than 30 years. So I started in 1993 with a small sailing vessel, a big adventure in Spitsbergen and later in Central America. And from there we increased our activities in the polar regions.
So can you please tell us the history of Oceanwide Expedition?
We started in the beginning of the 1990s, when my father bought a sailing vessel. And his idea was actually to rebuild it and to sell it. Then I just finished university. And of course, you know how it is with somebody who's still very young. You are dynamic, you have ideas, you want to change the world. And I had an idea, together with my father, maybe to do something with the vessel. But we also knew a vessel is slow, a vessel is not very comfortable. You cannot compete with the big cruise liners. So if you have a relatively small ship, you have to bring it to destinations that are so unique, without hotels, infrastructure. Then passengers are willing to pay extra because to operate a ship is expensive. And we were looking at the first destination, Spitsbergen. Why Spitsbergen? Not only the rich wildlife, but also the history of Spitsbergen. And it's related with my country, the Netherlands. We have a whaling history with Spitsbergen, but also discovery voyages. We have discoverers who went to Spitsbergen and they died during the winter time. And I was really fascinated by these stories. And therefore the first trip was a historic trip, bringing the ship to Spitsbergen. From there it actually started, the tour operating of Oceanwide. And of course...
Which year was it?
1994.
Okay.
And of course we didn't know anything about tourism. So a lot of things went wrong, but it was a fantastic time. Later on we brought the sailing vessel to Central America, also ended the, let's say, Caribbean program in Galapagos. Again, looking for fascinating destinations with no competition, and there is something to do. It can be wildlife, it was also a lot of scuba diving. But the sailing ship is slow, so we could not bring the ship to Antarctica. We had very long sea positioning. So we were thinking about how can we change that, and we were in contact with another company here in the Netherlands, and they had some business with Russian ships. They chartered the ships for a couple of trips. His problem was that you could never really have a horizon with the ship. Sometimes the ship didn't show up, and that was of course very bad when your customers are waiting and the ship is not there. So then we decided, we were talking with the Russian owners, to charter the ship for 5 years. And that was new in the market because everybody was chartering the ship for one trip or 3 trips or a season. But we took the ship for 5 years
From which year to which year?
We have done that from 1996 till it was 2010, I think.
Okay, that was the first time for the Antarctica during that time.
Yes, and it was of course an enormous adventure, because we took the ship and we were responsible for the maintenance, for the crewing, for everything. And in the beginning we did not really have a big market, so we were teaming up with some other companies until we were strong enough to operate the ship in the Arctic and Antarctica ourselves.
Wow, so you have the experience since the 90s until today.
Yeah. And that was with one Russian ship. Then later on we had a second one, a third and a fourth one.
And your father played a key role in shaping Oceanwide Expedition. What have you learned from your father? What have you made your own mark as a CEO?
It's a good question. Well, we did things together. My father has been captain on ships, so he has a shipping background.
Yeah.
And I have a history background, and I was always interested to develop trips. But my father was the leading person to find the vessels, and that is what I learned from him a lot.
What inspired you to focus on polar region?
Well, my first interest was to offer some voyages in the footsteps of the great discoverers. Yeah. And in particular, it is Willem Barents from the Netherlands. He sailed for the first time with a couple of ships to Spitsbergen. He didn't know the land. Yeah. He called it the new land, and later on, he was looking for a possibility to sail through the north to India, and that did not work out. So he got his ship stuck in the Russian Arctic, and there he also passed away. It is a very heroic tale, and I was always interested to go with a ship and to do similar trips in Spitsbergen. That was my first interest. So it was really like an historic adventure.
And nowadays the expedition has changed a lot, and how have you adapted this change since your early operation?
Well, first of all, it is very professional, but still we still offer those theme voyages. Can be historic. We listen very carefully to our clients, what they really want and what they need. And for example, we have clients who are interested in bird watching. We have people who are really interested in trekking and other activities. So Oceanwide facilitates in the needs of the customer. So we are not a cruise company, we are really an outdoor company. And we try to go closer to the heart of nature. So that is always our challenge. We like to do that. So it is not all preset. We all the time try to develop new ideas.
As a CEO of Oceanwide Expedition, you face a lot of challenges, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And what are those challenges that you remember most, and how did you overcome them?
Well, we had our challenges in the past with chartered vessels, so they were not our own vessel. They were Russian ships in this case. And the challenge was always, how can we control our ships, because there were always difficulties. Luckily, we now own our own ships, so that is a great help. So that was a challenge. We found a solution for that. But there are more challenges, economic challenges, market development, rules and regulations. And sometimes you think to yourself, how will we cope with this situation, COVID? But we always find a way to come up with solutions, and it was just because we love the region so much, and that gives you all the time energy and inspiration.
And what destination experience is Oceanwide Expedition looking to offer the guests?
For example, in the Arctic, to find new locations, new landing sites, because that gives us the possibility to differ from the competition. Yeah. And that is still possible in Spitsbergen, for sure in Greenland, which is my favorite destination, and also in Antarctica. We're all the time looking for new programs to attract more passengers on our ships. That is very important, because if you all do the same, then the only thing that you can differ is the price and maybe the food. We would like to be different with the location and the experience ashore.
And how do you do that?
Well, for example, I just returned from the last trip with Ortelius in Greenland, and there we developed a trekking program. That means that passengers stay in the field the whole day. They can walk there for 10, 15, up to 20 kilometers. We do not return for lunch, so it is really maximum quality time ashore. Not like we have been doing this, or the competition does it, that you stay ashore in the morning for 2 hours, then you return for lunch, and then again maybe in the afternoon. No, the full day, top experience. That is an example how we do it.
Feedback from the guests surprise you most, and how do you use those feedback to improve your products?
Well, the best feedback is of course that people say this was one of the best holidays I ever had, and it was I was blown away by the beauty of nature. That gives you of course a lot of pleasure yourself, because you sell happiness, and the fact that people share this information with you, their experiences, gives you more energy to bring it one step further.
Yeah. Sustainability is a key concept for Polar operator. And what kind of initiative have you done?
There are some initiatives we have done already in the past. Mm-hmm. One of the things is that we have been developing clean-up Spitsbergen. That means that passengers receive a bag and we collect plastic. Mm. Oceanwide really started with this. We do it once per year in Spitsbergen, and people really have the feeling that they can contribute. That is one initiative. Also, we have local initiatives. For example, in Greenland, we give funding for all kinds of projects. And of course, the sustainability, we try to avoid the impact as much as possible. That means plastic, it means like cans, like aluminium. We would like to bring that pollution down. That is one important factor. And another thing is, it is something we will share in the next few weeks, that we really have a plan to store CO2. But unfortunately, I cannot announce this now.
Okay, we are looking forward to your new initiative. How can you balance the guest experience, environmental protection in the polar region?
Well, of course, we have not only the rules to operate our trips in the field, but also, we inform our passengers what can be done and what not can be done. But I must say, every time that I'm on the ship, the passengers are very concerned. They are careful and they behave, because they also know that they are guests in this fantastic last wilderness. And I must say it goes very well. We hardly have any incidents. So our guests are very responsible, and we all would like to give those polar regions to the next generation. So I'm very pleased to see that.
Okay, thank you for today's interview.
Pleasure.